Alright, Shane here, gonna do basics of tuberous sclerosis. So tuberous sclerosis is something that I have lived with my whole life. Me, my brother, one brother, and my dad all have it. It puts tumors into the organs of the body and can also put them on the skin or the face and all that. So, I was born with 32 in my heart. They were then, after many years of having them, they dissolved into the walls of my heart. I was on many monitors when I first was born for the first 3 months. They didn't think I was going to make it past a week. But now I am here, 21, telling my story. Going to be 22 this year. So anyway, tuberous sclerosis causes a bunch of different side effect diseases, because it's a gene disease. So it's here, and then it starts to do this, and it goes up, 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 up. So all these up here, autism, epilepsy, and then those can also cause Tourette's, ADHD. I have ADHD. There is a bunch of different ones that they can cause. But the ones that I'm going to talk about is tuberous sclerosis and epilepsy, and the Tourette's for this video. So alright, tuberous sclerosis. It will put different things on your skin, ash leaf, chicken skin. There's a bunch of different names, and all it is the skin is a little ripple. It has ripples throughout it. Or it has bumps. I have one on my side. It's just one bump. It looks like my rib pushes out. It's kind of weird. So anyway, that is one of the things that you can find on the skin that is caused by tuberous sclerosis. Also, I have little ones on my nose and on my face, little white marks. I call it a milk spot, but it's just little white marks caused by the disease. And I also have a bunch of skin tags on my neck, and that's also caused by the disease. Yes, normal people will get them if they're unlucky, but people with tuberous sclerosis have a lot more chance of getting things that grow on their skin, especially skin tags. My dad has a ton of them. So anyway, into the epilepsy. I have seizures, my dad has seizures, my brother has seizures. They're all different. Mine is loss of bladder, and I stare off occasionally, not very often, but I do, and like the lights are on but nobody's home. Then there's my dad, who has out-of-body experiences, as he calls them, where it feels like he's outside of himself, and his don't last very long. Mine and his don't last very long at all. Then there's my brother. He is on the severe side when it comes to seizures. And his seizures can be between 30 seconds and 2 to 3 hours, depending on how bad the day is. But he does not have the typical seizure like everybody seems to know, which is the grand mal. That's the granddaddy of seizures. Your eyes roll back, you fall on the floor, and you call 911. That one is the one everybody knows. But there is a lot of other seizures out there. My brother has had all of them. And when I say that, I'm not joking. He has had every kind of seizure there is almost, for the sheer fact that he has been at it 22 years. He had a ton of them when he was younger, and they've gotten somewhat better, but as he's gotten older, even though they don't happen as often, they happen a lot longer, because they've ran out of meds to try on him, because he ended up most of the meds either didn't work or you become immune. That's the one problem with having tuberous sclerosis and it causing other diseases. You have to treat all of them, which then causes the pills to not always work because you're treating a bunch of things. So anyway, he grunts, he stutters, he yells, he cusses, he tightens up his muscles. he'll not breathe, and you have to talk to him to talk him out of it. You gotta tell him to breathe and breathe in front of him. He'll rock back and forth, and you gotta hold him, and he'll kind of throw himself if he doesn't know what's going on. He'll kind of come through on certain ones, and he'll be able to talk, but he's still not all there. He'll completely stiffen up, and you can't move him. He's just pure body weight. There's nothing you can do until he comes out of it, so you just got to keep him breathing. There's so many different kinds of seizures, and the reason he has them is because in the brain we have signals, and his signals, I have 6 tumors in my brain, but they don't really affect me. I only have one in a ventricle that could be causing different problems, but they have no clue, and they can't go get it at all unless it starts to grow, and thankfully mine have never grown. They're just there. So anyway, my brother ends up tightening up, he ends up like a boulder. So anyway, he only has a couple seizures and a couple tumors in his brain, but where they're at, they end up sending the signals through, and they just go all over the place, which makes his brain just misfire all the time, and that's what causes a seizure in his brain. And yeah, we have meds and we can give them and all that, but they don't always work because of getting immune. So in the past 2 years, we've had to call an ambulance 3 separate times to take him to the ER to get more stuff to fix what was going on, and it's very, very scary. But he wasn't supposed to walk, talk, go to the bathroom, read, write, any of that by himself, or even at all. But he can do all of that, and he's 22 and I'm 21. So this disease and all the side diseases may beat us up and bring us down, and it's not what I'd recommend at all. It sucks. There's certain things that people with TS and epilepsy and stuff don't get to experience like the rest of people, like other people who don't have certain issues, because it can also put tumors in the lungs, kidneys, and it can also make it so you end up getting blood diseases and all kinds of different problems. The lung and kidneys can get so bad that it causes other diseases, to the point that you have to have your kidneys or lungs transplanted if it gets too bad, or if there's too many tumors in there. Thankfully, my heart ones went away, but they're so vast of like what it can cause for like sides, that it is a gene thing. My dad had it and my mom did not, but they had 2 kids and both of us have it, and I was the less severe version and my brother's the severe version. And yeah, my migraine I have the chronic migraines, but truthfully, I am still the mild case when it comes to the outcomes. And there's a lot of different, every person who either has TS ends up different, because they all come with different extra diseases or side effects, or just TS. Some people who just get just TS, there's nothing else with it, and they do fantastic, because all they got to deal with is like getting the tests every year and stuff on the face and stuff like that. I actually know of a couple different people who have just TS, but a lot of the time TS comes with something else. It's not just a one thing like happening. So the epilepsy is, there, and then there's the Tourette's, which my brother has, and those were rough when we were younger. Now it's not so bad. It only flares up during the seizures. He'll say, "Oh my gosh," or "damn it," or "shit," stuff like that. and he tries to not say that, but it is what it is. We know it's the Tourette's. They make meds for that now. For the most part, it works, as long as the seizures aren't too bad. The tuberous sclerosis itself, the big part of it is it is very hard, because there's certain things as a person with TS that that I'm not able to do, or he's not able to do, due to what it comes with. I have ADHD. I have bad ADHD, and I take meds for it, and they work for the most part, but that's not always the case. People may not work as well, or the seizures, my brother's seizures aren't exactly under control. They're the best they can be. Or there's people who out there with this disease who are on a transplant list, or doing dialysis because they have some sort of blood issue or kidney issue or stuff like that. So there's such a vast realm. You can be basically normal and run in with Joe Blow, or you can be almost in a coma or pass away from it, because there's just such a vast, and it comes with so many side effect diseases, and that's what really is a big part of people knowing about TS. Is it's not just a little thing, and it's becoming more and more people are getting it, and it needs to be more and more out there of how you can deal with it, that there is meds out there to help the epilepsy, help the Tourette's, help, there's even meds out there to help shrink tumors if tumors start to grow, if you go to a doctor and they think that's what you need. And there's a bunch of different stuff. Always do research and look into whatever your doctors or whatever they talk about. Always look into it for yourself. Make sure you know what you're doing, because unless you're going to a specialist on that subject, make sure you and the doctor know what you're talking about. Not a lot of doctors in Iowa know what tuberous sclerosis is. We had to learn with them and teach them, and they had to, my mom for the past 22 years has been advocating for this disease to get funding, and she went to Washington D.C. and all that to get funding for cure for tuberous sclerosis, and help get funding to find ways to maybe help stop it from reaching such a rough point. And anyway, that's about it on the basics of at least this part. I will share another one in a couple weeks.